A very sunny good morning from Scotland. Cold, Christmassy, and through the window of self, through the window of life, lucky to be alive, you see. Still lucky to be here. Every morning, lucky to be here. Lucky to remain here in this here-ness, this incredible here-ness, this awareness, you see. But you know what? Awareness is something that we speak about as if we know it. Is to be present, is to watch what's going on. Well, if the truth about awareness, right? When we're speaking about pure awareness, pure conscious being, pure truth, pure reality, is when you don't know you're aware. When the mind is vacant, when the mind is gone, when there's no separation between you and anything in the world. Non-duality is a term that is used for awareness, but when you say you're non-dual, you're not non-dual. Because non-duality cannot speak about itself. Awareness cannot speak about itself, cannot locate itself, but knows that it is in every location. It cannot be separate. It is infinite. It is boundless. So we can experience awareness, but that what experiences awareness cannot associate or identify with this awareness using our emotional, sensory, communicative system of pictures, talking, hearing, smelling, tasting. Awareness is very touching. But it doesn't touch your mind, doesn't touch your brain, doesn't touch your vocal cords, your pupils, your lenses, your eyes. It doesn't touch any of that. It's beyond. It is before that. Awareness is everything with no identifier, but a body that is being touched. But when your mind is active to say, I am a body and I am being touched, it's not that. Awareness is that what shocks, stabilizes, and keeps everything pure, tranquil, deep, profound, and non-moving. And it is in a non-movement that the essence of non-movement starts moving. And then you come out of awareness. You become that person that is aware. Like this speaker is speaking about being aware right now. It is not practicing the awareness when it is engaging, but in an enlightened state, it knows that the awareness is in the background and is never not in the background. It's just that the mind is masking it. The identity of the world and you and everything around you with names and objects and stories and narrative, with wants and desires and needs, is masking it. It's always everywhere. But when the mind comes to the foreground, awareness seems to have to go to the background. It's like in class. It's always the bad kid gets taken to the front. Is it not? So the teacher can identify what you're doing. All the good kids are at the back because the teacher trusts them. But very often, the good kid at the back can feel as if it's right at the front because it's so present and over or supersedes the bad kids, so that the teacher sees only goodness in the class, even though the bad kid is throwing pieces of paper at all the other good kids. And that's awareness, is not in identifying the good and the bad. It is that there's nothing bad. Everything is good. But in a more realistic way, a more true way to say, no, everything is not good. because there's an identification between the mind between good is better than bad. Even though it feels good to say everything is good, it's when you say everything is okay. Everything is okay. Is that contented awareness moving through the whole class. It's sharing the good and the bad to be equal, and that's awareness. To say I'm aware that there are rich people and poor people, I'm aware that there are starving people and non-starving people, is a meaning, as a mind aspect, is an identity, is a concept to say, because in truth, we're all the same breath. Matters not what we have each individually, what we can do each individually, what we are here for in our mind to experience it individually. It's none of that. Awareness is none of that about making comparisons, judgment, measuring, analyzing. Awareness is being, is completely being. And being is real life, true life, with no mind. Let the mind go to the back of the class and let awareness come forward. Let the bad kids go to the back of the class. And the teacher will only hear. You're the teacher. You're the bad kid, the good kid. You're everything you can possibly be, because we've made ourselves into that possibility. I want to be a teacher when I'm big, but you have to be good. Well, I will. Right now you're bad. Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try and be good. Then I'll be a good teacher. Yeah, but you can be a bad teacher. Why can I be a bad teacher? Well, if you don't identify the difference between good and bad. A real good teacher is that what cannot identify between good and bad. A real good teacher is that what accepts and sees through this concepts of good and bad. This is a window of life. You look through the window, the mind sees good and bad. Sees bad people out there, sees good people out there. But when there's no mind, it cannot identify with what is taking place. It just sees people moving, playing games. There's no assumptions, no badness, no atrocities, no ways of saying what is taking place. No information, no meaning, no knowledge. You don't like that, you see. That's why no being, even Christ and Buddha, could stay in awareness. Because we have to fit into this makeshift world, this Maya world, this elusive world of making rules and regulations and guidelines and concepts and beliefs and hopes and attachments and needs and desires, so that we associate with all these things, and therefore we cannot maintain that pure awareness that we are. The pure awareness is beyond the body, is before the body, but it lies deep within the core of the body. And we each experience it at night. But our eyes are closed. That's the unfortunate thing. In deep sleep, our eyes are closed. We cannot observe. What we can observe is peace and tranquility in deep sleep, although the mind is not there to say, oh, this is peaceful, this is incredibly deep and profound sleep. You don't need a mind to say that. You know you are enjoying this sleep. You're completely at ease with this sleep. Awareness is when you're awake. Awareness is when the eyes are open, but they're not seeing what the mind knows or thinks it understood, or thinks it has been conditioned into learning. In Scotland, we call it a dwam. When you go to the top of the stairs, and you get to the top, and you go 3 doors, and you go, oh, where was I going? What was I doing? I came up here for something. What was it? That's not awareness. Awareness is the moment you stop, and you forget. And in that moment, you forget who you are, where you're going, and what you're looking for. And it's only for a second. And we don't like it, you see. The mind doesn't like it. The mind doesn't like awareness. The mind abhors awareness. So when the mind speaks about awareness, it's trying to put off the aware, or the awareness being aware. It's pretending. It's putting on a fictitious robe. It's an actor from the stage. I know what awareness is. It's the difference between good and bad. It's the difference between this and that. It's when I'm not doing this and I'm doing that. It's when I'm doing something and I know what I'm doing. I'm digging the garden, I'm aware. I'm aware I'm digging the garden. Oh, not true. Anyway, what is your version? How many enlightened? How many knows what this speaker is speaking about? If you know, you're not going to answer, are you? Because you're not going to say, well, I know what it is, because you think speaker's going to say, no. Well, this is not what this site is about. We cannot maintain awareness. The speaker is not being aware right now. So how can you be aware all the time? So let's move in and out of this awareness. Let's be a person and be aware and be a being and be non-dual and be dual and be all these things. This is the diversity of life. This is the incredible opportunity of life. This is what ego has given us, an opening into other aspects of life, but we don't use this ego very well. And that's what we're here to discover through this window of life.